Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you at the National Library of Latvia for the international conference New Directions in the Library Exhibitions, organized by Books and Audience Network Group, a nice abbreviation, BANG, which you will see for many times during the next 2 days. My name is Ineta Vaivode. I'm the project manager and the curator here at the National Library of Latvia and also part of the BANG network. The network has been active for many years, but we are especially happy to mark this opportunity to finally organize and host an in-person conference, because for the last, actually, I don't know how many years, we only met in webinars, in different online meetings, so we are really happy for this possibility to see people, and I think our morning networking activity, when we had to chat and also feel the presence of other people who are talking in a loud voice close to you, really gave us this special feeling. Over the next 2 days, we will talk, reflect, and share insights about books and audiences, how to connect them through exhibitions. The topic might seem really straightforward, but it offers endless opportunities to respond to change and to adapt and to keep drawing new opportunities. We encourage you to meet new people, to network, and we also encourage you to think about your own contribution to the BANG network in the future. That's why throughout the day we will combine different formats of activities. We will have wonderful presentations done by excellent speakers, and we will also have several practical sessions that are designed in order to make us think about what are the needs for the people who are really working with the books, with audiences. The event would not be possible without the support of the Conference of European National Libraries, which continues to recognize the value of the network and sees the importance to emphasize this very special niche of library exhibitions. We are also very grateful to the National Library of Latvia, the place which hopefully you will explore for the upcoming 2 days. And this is a very special time for the library. This year we are celebrating 500 years since the first Latvian book was printed. This year also marks the 100th birthday anniversary for the architect of this building, Gunārs Birket. And with that in mind, I would like to give the floor to the director of the Special Collections Department of the National Library of Latvia, Marika Selga.
It's so hard to come in, and I have my paper also here, but it's so lovely to meet you all. I had chat with some of you at once, and it seemed so interesting already what we are looking for, what we are reading at the moment, what was the worst exhibition, something like that, as we all have our experiences. And what I observed when we talk about exhibitions is that people actually live in different schedules. Let's say, for instance, maybe your calendars already are full with already for 2027 or 2028. As I noticed one day when I talked to Maya, in this case, that I was already scheduling something in 2 years up front. So it seems that you live in the future already in comparison with other ones. And it's the question, of course, is when we talk with curators, they are totally different persons. As let's say me, I come in and that's like, where is it? But for you, this is the question. How do you reimagine? How do you reinterpret something? How do you showcase something for youngsters, for seniors, for very inquisitive adults who come in? Nestrādā. Sorry. So the question then is, what is your role today and how do you share the experience? And we, in our library, we consider that our mission is to provide the knowledge to everyone. And then the question is, how do you do it? Just by the printed books, or you do also exhibitions? And when you have the exhibition, what is the message which you are trying to convey? And for that, possibly you come up with certain books you would love to expose or something else. But then we use visualization, sound, then we talk about materiality of those things, And maybe we find something else totally different which would relate to that particular message which is in the book or the material which we are exposing. So everything is important when we talk about the message and the audience which will be receiving it. So if you will walk through our exhibitions, you will notice there is always something for children, but also for persons like me, who is interested to stand there and fantasize about how interesting the life was 200 years ago or something like that. So this is the meeting where to come together to learn from each other. And I had also a question, and possibly you will also have the same topic at some point. As being the ones who keep relics, rare books and manuscripts, we are tasked to protect them, to preserve those materials. And then one day somebody comes in and says, I would love to expose it, put in exhibition. And of course the question then is, what are the conditions under which you would put this book, for example, outside, and for how long time? And if that brittle material is shown longer than 1 month, then what will you be doing next day? Or how often you are supposed to turn the page or something like that, as this is a very important part when we talk about those rare materials which we hold here. And should we expose these books, or it is enough if we have facsimile and let people play with it or something like that? Anyway, I'm very, very pleased to host this particular event of Conference of European National Libraries being here. I am very pleased to have the directions that you will be speaking about, new directions, about new ways for these exhibitions. And I really hope that this meeting will bring in new members across the Europe, and also the Latvian part will be enjoying it. And I would assume that library and book exhibitions are a specific niche, as you need really different strategies how to expose it. It's not a piece of art which you just hang at the wall. You really need to think about several layers, several strategies about that. And that's why I suggest that you have this continuation of a dialogue, how to expose, what to expose, in which way, and how do you curate as the process itself, how do you work with those who are researchers, and how do you end up with the other end of those who are users of your exhibition. So let's be ambitious, let's do everything around that. Once more, we created this network in here in 2018, and it seems that that is very much needed for all of us, you, us, everybody who is doing the work, us sharing the experience you had, sharing the moments where you did not succeed, or the opposite, where that was a success, and you learn from each other. And that's our role today, to come together and grow together in that knowledge, how to do it. I am very, very proud to say that we and Estonians, where is Monica? We are celebrating 500 years since our first book was printed. And it was not a success story, as that particular book was burned for both of us. And what we are doing right now, we are really like a detectives trying to look for everybody. Maybe there is some convolute where somebody has a part at least of that first book. So this is also what curators then do, as you are meeting each other, you know what materials are around, and maybe you are helping each other also with that. And once more, our common task when we talk about the books is to talk about the value of this object, the book itself, the knowledge it holds, the history it holds, the stories behind it, and to make the book the one like stepping stone for those other people who are coming in. I would love to say thank you to our Research and Interpretation Center, as they are really the ones who put the research together with that, how you provide that research and showcase that around. So talk to my colleagues all around, as they start with, let's say, the manuscripts and the books, and they end up being exposed in exhibitions. So their experience from one part to other is possibly also something we can share. And once more, I would love to thank CENL for generously hosting this event here in our library. And thank you everybody who choose to come here as speakers and will share their experience with everybody around. Thank you very much, and I really wish you a successful seminar for 2 days.
Thank you so much, Marika. I believe that part of you is familiar with BANG and what the network does, but part of the people who are present here today are only because of the content, because they want to receive information. But we decided that it will be really important to introduce you to the network. And that's why I would like to welcome my partner in crime and chair of the BANG network, Vanessa. And we are going to quickly guide you through the ups and downs and the long history of BANG.
A very good morning, everybody. Also from my side, very welcome here to Riga, National Library of Latvia. It feels a bit like a second home for me. I'm coming from Belgium, the Royal Library of Belgium, and I was there at the very beginning of BANG and would like to tell you a story. And if we tell a story, we begin with Once Upon a Time. Can I use this one for the... Yes, once upon a time, in Riga, in 2018, there was a conference. I was invited to that conference to talk about one of our exhibitions in the Royal Library of Belgium. And that was how it looked like in 7 years ago. That was also in one of the conference rooms here in the National Library. It was hosted by Inga, who will also take part in the conference later on. And it was a very interesting conference because several people were invited to talk about their book exhibitions in there and how did they manage and so on. So very interesting topics were discussed over there. It was moderated by Diana Walters. Who is familiar with BANG? Can you just raise your hand? Are there people who once followed the webinar? Diana is also one of our one of the people who were there from in the beginning, hosting also the webinars. But she, at the end of this 2-day conference, she made some discussion and brainstorms to know and to get a clearer sight of, okay, that was a very inspiring 2 days, but what we will do afterwards? Is there a ground, or are there people who want to involve or engage themselves to go on with this topic? And we were a few who said, okay, it was a very interesting conference, 2 days, very inspiring, and people were very uplifted. And we thought, okay, this topic is so important because book exhibition, like you already said, that's not the same as an art exhibition. We have different materials to showcase. It's not always sexy to show books in showcases. And the audience, how can you involve them with your exhibitions and let them have a nice experience and let them have something that stick in their mind after they visited an exhibition like that. So these were interesting topics, so we went on. And after this brainstorm, we were 4 or 5 people who said, okay, let's engage. And in 2020, we applied for a CNL grant, and we got the grant for 3 years. And so BANG started. And in 2020, we started with the aim, okay, let's do another conference in 2020. That was a plan. And then suddenly, everyone knows that plan was not going to be, not having an outcome, so we changed to do webinars. And in 2021, we said, okay, let's do another in-person conference. It's very important. But things were changing, so we stick to webinars. So we every year we organized an online webinar. The first one in 2020, we had 100 participants, so we were overwhelmed by. And it also gave us the idea, okay, there is something that people are interested in, so we continued to do the webinars. So from in-person events, this was the future for Bang. This is one of our member meetings. In the beginning, in 2020, we had 13 members. Members of national libraries, but also there were 4 people from the British Library that were member in that time. But we also had independent bookmakers and people from universities. So it was a diverse team of Bang members, and it still is at the moment. So we became very good at organizing webinars. So good that one of our working points we know now are that time is a very precious thing also in organizing conferences. So sorry for speakers or something if we are not really ahead of things, but we are really doing our best because we are a volunteering network group. So yeah, it's how do you call it? A little bit of a side job, a hobby. No, it's not. It's very interesting to do. So our communication is not always on point or on time. And one of the maybe bloopers we had during our career as Bang is we wanted to start a website. But if you don't have a communication responsible in your team, and if you don't have someone really good at the technical part of those things, it stays a bit at the side. So somewhere on the internet, there is a website, a Bang website, but it's not alive yet. So maybe we should make it a goal for the future. And we also started once an Instagram page that's also still there. And since yesterday, it's awake again. So if you're on social media, you can look up Bang_books and audiences, and maybe from now on, it will have a life.
Yes. There will be also a slide with a picture of the website, so you will see it, yes. In 2023, we got confirmation that we might proceed with another 3 years, which we saw as a great opportunity to think about the possibility to expand and to be more strategic. That's why we are not running ahead of time with making new social media cons, but we are thinking about formats that would really work. And this is part of our goal for this event, really to think what are those formats that are possible to implement. Yes, this is CENL that was already mentioned before, who really sees the importance in library exhibitions and supports us for the second time. Yes, this is the famous website. You will never find it on the internet because there is no valid address, but it's pretty ready, and we're also planning to post the content there. But if we put jokes aside, it is also really important to think about the core mission and the value of the network, and how do we see ourselves. Our mission is to provide this dynamic environment for discussion, and as Vanessa already mentioned, it's really important that we have a diverse team. It's really wonderful that a consortium is made from the national libraries, but it's such a fun company to do it together with independent curators, researchers, people who are doing something practical related to books, book binding or other topics, because it gives this multi-layered perspective to this classical object book. Our vision is that we're bringing books and audiences together. Maybe in the future, if there is a possibility need, we might create several subsections, people who are working with communication aspects, people who are working specifically with exhibiting subjects, but this is another topic that will be also put on the table for the upcoming days. And one of our goals is to meet less online and maybe practice a bit more regular meetings in person, maybe not in the full complement of all the people who are part of the network. Regarding the webinars, Vanessa already mentioned this, but every year we are trying to tackle some unique aspects that maybe were left aside and were not on the focus for the last years. For example, some of the topics were related to the well-being or to technology, how we embrace and balance technology and innovation in library exhibitions. Or one of my favorite topics was about unlocking non-visitor potential. We might have wonderful buildings, wonderful programs, but there is this clash with the audience that simply is not visiting your institution, is not coming. And this is a really topical issue. And I believe it's not only about the libraries, it's also about museums or other cultural spaces. And a very classical webinar was about what to tell and how to tell in library exhibitions, in book exhibitions, because it's not only about libraries. And this time we are really encouraging you to look for the videos, because there is a YouTube channel and all these webinars are recorded and all the videos are published on the internet. So it's a good practice to revise something that was told during those meetings. Yes, Vanessa?
And stories beginning with once upon a time always end with "and they lived happily ever after." So that's also a bit the question of this 2-day conference. This is the last year of our CNL grant that we are having, so we have to think about the future. We will apply, of course, for another 3 years with CNL, but we are not sure that we will get the grant and so on. We are an active network, we are a member network, but we also would like to hear from you. What are your dreams for the Bang network? Do you have ideas? Do you want to engage with us? We can discuss this together. So we are really eager to hear also about your thoughts about it. That's why there are some flip charts in the next room. So don't hesitate to write things down, to come to us, give us ideas or suggestions. Don't be shy. We are here to think about this together. So from my side, I would like to wish you a very nice 2-day conference. I hope we had a good start with a nice speed dating. I hope we can go on in the same atmosphere and yeah, enjoy.
But that's not the very end of the presentation. We also drafted a couple of things. How do we see it, thinking about the vision and the future? This is something that might help you to think in the right direction. So definitely we would like to broaden the number of people who are member of the network. We are really welcoming other national libraries, but public libraries, other cultural institutions also have this possibility. It would be lovely if we could take the track and follow the recent trends in book exhibitions. So what is there in the year, what we have to talk about. And of course, another dream is to think about the resource bases. I know that a lot of you are writing wonderful publications, academic, less academic. It would be such a great idea to gather them in one base. And of course, this balance between academic and informal approaches, I believe that this is something that makes Bang a wonderful project. And maybe something that we are interested as practitioners, curators, regular trainings. Again, we might think about the in-person or remote format, but this is something that we might get back to. But now, talking about the event, I also thought that it's important to tackle some practicalities, because currently we are here at the conference center, but throughout the 2 days you will explore library, you will attend some guided tours. So what to expect from the event? So 50 participants registered from 9 countries, so really use the opportunity to meet people, to have a coffee break with someone you haven't met or talked during the speed dating intro activity. We have diverse members here. We have national libraries, public libraries, museums, archives, and the diversity of museums represented here is also great, starting from the Anatomy Museum to the War Museum. So I believe that there are also books in their collections. And among us, there are designers, curators, collection experts, researchers, and we have our own understanding, for example, of who a curator is, how we define this position. It's another interesting topic to discuss. And your input matters. I think for the 10th time, we remind about the possibility to write questions and suggestions. Please don't forget to ask questions. Latvians are believed to be introverts, but we have a diverse public, so really after the presentations there will always be a time for your question. But I have one question for you now. Why are you here today? And this is a small interactivity that we might run now. Of course, we will use wonderful Slido. A very silly question. Why are you here today? To work. Hopefully not in parallel. People are connecting. To get inspired, for inspiration, new ideas, for the promising speeches. To learn from each other, to learn something new about exhibitions, right? Wonderful people, good compliment, new friends. This is really important because we are talking about books, but there are always people behind those great projects that are dealing with the complex matter of book exhibitions. Get to know more about Bang. You will definitely have the possibility to speak about your experience, to get inspiration and new connections, yes. We will make new friends, this is for sure. So let's wait for some other replies if people are still texting. It looks like we are on the same page. New ideas, new experience, and new friends. So something that we can guarantee. New documentary heritage, how the new documentary heritage could be represented more in a more interesting way. Talking to international colleagues. Go home happy. So thank you for this quick interaction. I hope we will meet your expectations. And some practical information about the event. During break, no visitor cards are needed to access the library at the first level, so you will see that there are different exhibitions. You will also have several guided tours. No visitor cards are needed here for the first level. We will have a guided tour on level 5. The exhibition text is not our type, and in order to get there, you have to ask for a visitor's card at an info desk. If something is not clear, please approach me during the break, but you come to the info desk, you tell that you are part of the bank, and you will be provided with the necessary visitor's card. When you registered, maybe you have noticed that the last column is about the guided tour. So we are a big group, that's why we are divided into 2 parts. We have 2 exhibitions with the possibility to meet the curators. We have a wonderful exhibition as a library, a birthright, and an exhibition text is not our type. Don't worry, if you visit the first exhibition today, it doesn't mean that you will see this, you won't see the second tomorrow. So we plan that you will see both. But during the break, please don't forget to take a quick look at the registration list and check to which exhibition you are assigned to today. And a canteen and a cafe are available here at the library during the break. Just follow the yellow signs in the atrium and hopefully they will guide you. Yes, and another advertisement, those people, most likely international visitors that are here, are welcome to join a guided tour in the Old Town tomorrow evening. Yes, we will be a bit tired after the long day, but the weather seems to be nice and we will have 1.5 hour long walk in the Old Town. And on Saturday, if you are still here, there is also a possibility to attend the guided tour here at the library at 11. Tomorrow there will be a registration list and you will be able to sign up, but I will remind you about this for several times. Yes, thank you so much. Just keep this in mind. It's another nice opportunity. Yes, thank you.